Senator Bragg. If I could give the call then to Senator O'Neill.
No, I think Senator Chair. Had questions. Thank you. First of all, could I just note that the government came back to the PJC committee requesting an extension on the OPD, which was motion 1249 with regard to Sterling, the Sterling collapse. ASIC has been ordered by the Senate to produce documents regarding these inquiries made by and actions taken by ASIC in regard to the Sterling Group. There are 4 documents that have been identified as relevant. At this point of time, we're 2 days past the due date for the documents to be produced. Could we possibly have an update on the timeline for these documents being handed to the Senate?
Thanks for that question, Senator. My understanding is we wrote to Senator Hume asking for more time. There were a number of issues that we needed to work through before we could hand the documents over. I don't have a specific day in mind that we'll be doing that, but I don't know whether our General Counsel, Mr. Savandra, can give us any more. I think we were needing about a week to complete our processes.
Sorry, I just missed what you said then, Mr. Longo. Your meeting when, did you say?
I think we will need a week or so to complete our processes because as the letter points out, we've referred aspects of the matter to the Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions. There are named individuals in the material, and we're just working through a process to ensure that the integrity of our ongoing investigation and that referral isn't undermined. We're certainly going to produce the documents, that we just need some time to work through any need for very specific redactions. But I might hand over to Mr. Savandra in case I've got any of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I think we're working as quickly as we can, given the issues that Mr. Longo referred to. I would observe that the documents that have been requested cut across a current ongoing investigation, and as Mr. Longo says, we have referred a brief to the Commonwealth Director for assessment. That investigation is ongoing. So ASIC is likely, through the Minister, to make public interest immunity claims over the document through redactions. This will take some time, and it's necessary for us to therefore consult with people who we assess will be materially adversely affected. We're hoping that we'll be able to complete that within the next week, but we're working as quickly as we can. So, Senator, without making any commitments, I would hope that we would be able to produce the document during the course of next week, at the latest the week after.
Sorry to interrupt you, Senator O'Neill. I've just got a logistical issue. I've just been advised by Broadcasting, Commissioner Priest, it's your camera which apparently is the gremlin in the system. So if I can just ask you to turn your camera off and please stay with us, but that's what I'm advised by our technological assistants. Senator O'Neill.
Thank you, a critical intervention. So, Mr. Savandra, thank you for your response. But can I point out that the Senate has already ordered that these documents be provided? I mean, that is the will of the Senate. You have indicated that you are in the process of constructing a public interest immunity claim, but we have not received that. On what grounds are you likely to seek a public interest immunity from releasing these documents to the Senate?
Senator, a number of grounds, but and I don't unfortunately have the relevant parliamentary rules in front of me, but one is that it may impact or prejudice an ongoing investigation. It may affect or interfere with a future enforcement action, and thirdly, it may interfere with, if there is any prosecution, fair trial of individuals. So we have in our letter to Minister Hume, which Minister Hume has written to the President of the Senate, set out why we require more time. And it does say, if I read from the letter, it says that the documents contain information disclosing the identity or information enabling a person to ascertain the identity of a number of third parties, including persons of interest, reporters of misconduct, whistleblowers, witnesses, and other persons assisting ASIC. ASIC has not had the opportunity to consult with third parties referred to in the documents that may be materially adversely affected by the disclosure of information that may damage the personal reputation and privacy of those persons. And the second is that they may prejudice, 1, ASIC's investigation, 2, any future prosecution of breach of the law, and 3, the fair trial and impartial adjudication of a future prosecution. In the letter, we articulate and reference the relevant parliamentary rules. Most of that language that I've just described to you is really repeating back grounds within the rules making public interest immunity claims, Senator.
Chair, I have both of those documents.
So
the letter from ASIC
I actually
in
have
front
them
of
as
me.
well, thank you.
Oh, you don't need me to table them?
If you want to table them for people for ease
Would you
of
like me
access,
to table them,
it's not a
Chair?
I think that'd be useful,
Yes.
Minister.
However, I do want to point out that the senators here that I'm in good company with receive confidential information all of the time. And we receive information that we deal with in a confidential way. There is really no reason why, in the interim, while you consider whether these documents should be publicly made available to the entire Senate, that they could not be made available to this committee or the PJC in confidence for us to be across the matters.
Senator, would be happy to consider that request, but certainly that's a very different proposition, providing documents in confidence to a committee rather than having the documents tabled publicly in the Senate.
And can I point out that the reason that so much of this public pushing for documents is because there is just a culture of secrecy and containment where we can't get our hands on documents that we need to do our job. So can I encourage you to continue to meet the order of the Senate, noting that it's already passed 2 days past the due date for those documents to be produced. I personally believe that the claims of public interest immunity are somewhat spurious, but that's up to a further point down the track for the Senate to determine its response to that. But in the interim, given the large number of inquiries around Stirling and for senators to be aware of what's happening, can I encourage you in the interim to provide the PJC certainly and this committee, if it's of interest to the committee, of those documents in confidence?
Yeah.
Senator, happy to consider that. What I would say is ASIC wishes to be as transparent and open as possible with the committee, but as I noted, we are a law enforcement agency, we're a criminal law enforcement agency, and all we're wanting to do is ensure that public disclosure doesn't interfere with that important work.
Yeah, and it's up to the committee to determine whether that claim is valid or not, so we need that documentation. Thank you.
And Senator O'Neill, just one quick follow-up question on that, and I'll direct this to Chair Longo. Chair, are you aware that there has been a referral to a reference committee in relation to the Stirling matter, and that a request is being made of ASIC to make a submission in relation to that important references committee matter?
Senator, I think you can be assured that I'm very aware of that inquiry, and will be obviously we fully cooperate with that inquiry when the time comes in a few weeks. I have heard your question correctly. The Senate inquiry into Sterling